You've done the fasted walk every single morning for months. Same route, same empty stomach, same 45 minutes before the sun's even fully up. And you check the mirror, and the stubborn fat around your middle hasn't moved. Not really, maybe a little, maybe none at all. You're doing everything the videos told you to do, walking on an empty stomach, staying in that so-called fat-burning zone, being consistent about it. And the frustrating part? Most men in this exact situation have no idea the walk was never the biggest lever they had. They've just never been shown the other ones. Here's what's strange. When researchers actually sat people down for weeks at a time, not just for a single morning, but over a full month or more, and measured what fasted exercise did to body fat compared to eating something first, the results surprised almost everyone who'd been preaching the fasted walk gospel. By the end of this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what that research found, and more importantly, what 3 things actually moved the needle instead. Understanding this is going to change where you put your effort, starting today. Here's what's actually happening when you think about fat loss. Your body doesn't decide how much fat to lose during the 30 or 45 minutes you're out walking. That decision gets made across the full 24 hours of your day. What you eat, how much you move without even thinking about it, how much muscle you're carrying, how well you're sleeping. Think of it like a bathtub. Your morning walk is 1 cup of water going in, but the tub is mostly filling or draining during the other 23 hours you're not walking at all. Sitting at your desk, eating dinner, lying in bed. If you're only paying attention to the cup, you're missing almost the entire tub. This matters because most men over 40 were sold a very specific story, that the empty stomach was the secret ingredient, the thing that unlocked fat burning in a way eating first never could. And on paper, that idea sounds reasonable. When you're fasted, your stored sugar is lower, so your body reaches for fat as fuel a little more during the exercise itself. That part is true. But burning more fat during a 45-minute window doesn't automatically mean you end up with less fat on your body by the end of the week. Your body is constantly adjusting the rest of your day to balance things out, which is exactly why the research on this ends up telling a very different story than the popular advice does. Let's get into the 3 things that carry far more weight than a fasted walk ever will. Number 1. Your muscle is doing more for your fat loss than your cardio is. Here's the biology in plain terms. Muscle tissue is metabolically expensive to maintain. Your body burns calories just keeping it there, even while you're sitting still or sleeping. That's very different from fat, which mostly just sits there in storage, costing your body almost nothing to hold on to. So the more muscle you're carrying, the higher your baseline calorie burn is every hour of every day, without you doing anything extra. When men lose weight through cardio alone, research shows a meaningful chunk of that weight loss, sometimes over 1/5 of it, comes from muscle, not fat. That's a problem because losing muscle actually lowers your metabolism going forward, making the next round of fat loss even harder. But when resistance training is part of the picture, that number flips almost entirely. Tracking body composition during weight loss have found that with strength training included, close to 97% of the weight lost can come from fat, with muscle staying largely intact. What this means for you is simple. The fasted walk burns some calories while you're doing it, but 2 short strength sessions a week are protecting your metabolism 24 hours a day. Every single day, whether you're walking or not. The actionable step here is to trade one of your 5 weekly walks for a 30-minute strength session. Bodyweight squats, push-ups, rows, whatever you have access to. You don't need a gym membership to start, and you don't need to lift heavy right away. You just need to start asking your muscles to do something they're not used to. Number 2, the movement you're not counting is often bigger than the workout you are counting. Researchers at the Mayo Clinic, led by a physician named James Levine, spent years studying something called non-exercise activity thermogenesis, NET for short. That's just a technical term for all the movement in your day that isn't a structured workout. Taking the stairs, standing while you're on a call, pacing around the kitchen, carrying groceries. Even fidgeting count. His research found something remarkable. This kind of everyday movement can vary by as much as 2,000 calories a day between 2 people who look similar on paper, weigh the same, and eat similar diets. 2,000 calories is roughly what a full extra day of eating looks like, just from background movement alone. And here's the part that explains a lot of stalled fat loss journeys. When people start dieting, this background movement often quietly drops by 200 to 400 calories a day without the person ever noticing. Their body compensates by making them move less throughout the rest of the day. Smaller movements, more sitting, less pacing. It's not laziness. It's an unconscious adjustment your body makes almost automatically. What this means for you is that a 45-minute fasted walk can get partially canceled out if you're sitting still for the other 15 hours you're awake. The action here isn't complicated. Stand up during phone calls. Take the stairs when you can. Park further away. Get up every hour at your desk. None of it looks impressive on its own, but stacked across a full day, week after week, it can outweigh the walk entirely. Number 3, What and when you eat is doing more work than whether your stomach is empty during the walk. This is the part that surprises people most because it directly challenges the whole premise of fasted walking. When scientists review the actual evidence, a systematic review published in 2017, along with a controlled trial that had participants train either fasted or fed while eating the exact same calories, they found no meaningful long-term difference in fat loss between the two groups. Similar amounts of fat over the same number of weeks on the same diet. Your body seems to find ways to balance things out over the course of the day, regardless of whether you ate breakfast before your walk or not. What actually does move the needle is the structure of your eating, enough protein to protect your muscle while you're in a calorie deficit, and consistency with that deficit over weeks, not just one good morning. Protein matters here for a specific reason. When you're eating less than your body burns, your body doesn't automatically know to take that energy shortfall from fat stores alone. Without enough protein coming in, it can pull some of that shortfall from your muscle instead, which is exactly what you're trying to avoid. What this means for you is that you can stop stressing about whether you eat before your walk. That decision was never the deciding factor it was made out to be. The action step is to make sure your first meal of the day, whenever you eat it, has a solid source of protein, eggs, Greek yogurt, chicken, whatever fits your routine, because that's the piece actually protecting your results, not the number of hours your stomach stayed empty beforehand. Here's something worth sitting with. That stubborn fat around your midsection isn't a personal failure, and it isn't your body betraying you. It's doing exactly what evolution built it to do. For most of human history, storing fat efficiently around the abdomen was a survival advantage, a buffer against famine, against unpredictable food supply, against a world where the next meal wasn't guaranteed. Your body still runs that same ancient program. The problem is, that program was written for a world with scarce food and constant physical labor, and you're living in a world with neither. Your biology isn't broken. It's just old software running in a brand new environment. The HE story moment. I want to tell you about a guy who reached out a while back, mid-40s, walked fasted almost every single morning for nearly a year. Rain or shine, 5, sometimes 6 days a week, 40 minutes on an empty stomach before work. He was frustrated because the number on the scale barely moved, and the fat around his stomach looked almost identical to when he started. What actually changed things wasn't a better walk, or a longer one. He started standing up during his work calls instead of sitting through them. He added 2 short strength sessions using dumbbells he already owned in his garage, and he started eating eggs and Greek yogurt in the morning instead of just coffee. Nothing about it looked dramatic, but 3 months later he sent a photo, and the difference was obvious. The walk stayed the same. Everything around it changed. Conclusion. So here's what you actually know now that you didn't before. Fasted walking isn't wasted effort, but on its own, it's the smallest lever in the room. Everyday movement and what you're eating are doing far more of the real work, whether you're paying attention to them or not. Tell me in the comments, of these 3, which one have you never actually tried? I read every single reply. And if this changed how you're thinking about your routine, stick around. There's more real science on this channel. No fluff, no shortcuts, just what actually works.